Hey, what's up, everybody? Look who it is.
Evening, evening.
It's Hexy and Wardrobe. But I still just was telling him I'm not wearing the wardrobe because I'm not playing Warrior 2. So then does that mean I'm not a wardrobe?
Are we actually live?
Are we live?
I don't know. I'm checking my other Facebook channel to see.
All right. Well, hopefully we're live.
Yep, we're live.
Hey, everybody, we're live. So let's do what you should do on these live streams. Let's still do what that be. Everyone's getting excited. Time and money so that when you start the meat of the subject, you're ready to go. And that is why there's a countdown for life. Should probably really be doing it.
Whatever.
What's up, Hexy? What?
Whatever you were saying.
Kidding.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Jeff and I are, I'm sorry. Hex and I are playing through some scenarios in GCACW. We've talked about this, but, I never know who's watching and who hasn't seen other stuff. But we talked about doing it in 2023, and we never did. But we said, we're going to do this year. And so we have started All Green Alike, which I think is some of the earliest in the Civil War scenarios for the GCACW system. Again, I need to ask Patrick or other people, is there a list of them in order? There should be a list of scenarios in or chronological order.
And if not, we could create a spreadsheet.
Yeah, you could. Okay, so Jeff will be working on that while I'm talking. We want to go over scenario 2. So we played scenario 2 over a couple sessions together. We're playing these together,
co-op,
two-handed co-op. That's just what we do. That way we don't get all fight and hate each other afterwards.
Yeah.
Like Murray and I did after Storm over Stalingrad, but we don't hate each other. Just kind of mad at each other for stuff. Just kidding. That's not why he's not here, by the way.
Yeah, where is he tonight? Is he playing somewhere?
Well, I didn't. I thought we were just recording. Anyway, it was slip up on my part. So sorry, McMurray. He's probably going to bed anyway. He's got to get up and go to work.
Chuck, Mike, Peter. Hey.
Chuck, Mike, Peter. Anyway, so we're going to just do a real quick overview, maybe 30 minutes. We say that'll probably be 4 hours. No, but we really would like to do 30 minutes because what we want to do is then go to scenario 3. And it appears, because Jeff was just looking at it before we went live, there's a lot of special rules. So
yes. They've increased with each scenario so far.
Yeah, which is pretty cool here. So let's we're going to get rid of our lovely mugs and look at the screens. Now
wait, before we go. So for those out there, we do intend on eventually start playing these things live. We just want to make sure we're comfortable with the rule set before we do that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's exactly right. And probably just get on there and play for a couple hours and talk through it. And they will not be teaching sessions by any stretch. You can go to Patrick for that.
And we've gotten better with just 2 scenarios. We've gotten a little more efficient. It's just, the game is not the core rules are not the issue. It's trying to keep up with the special rules for each battle.
The special rules and the victory conditions. I'm not sure I've seen a game. Excuse me, with victory conditions like what they do with these scenarios.
Ray, hey, Don.
And what I mean by that is, thanks, Ray, for coming on. They're very well designed, but they're pretty involved. But I was listening to Patrick talk about one of these scenarios. If you kind of look at them from a strategic and geographic point of view, they start to make sense. But if I look at them just like take hex 1302 or 1402 and exit 1305, I'm like, what? I don't understand what's happening.
Right.
So you kind of really do have to take a moment and think about them in terms of what they're trying to achieve. It helps that Jeff kind of knows the history better, way better. I mean, I don't know it at all, really, frankly. So you can kind of I think it's Manassas they're going to.
Yeah. Yep.
So he kind of knows what battle's coming up and why they're going that way. And it probably says that in the scenario, but I just kind of get overwhelmed. I kind of forget. So you can't really see it on here, but and I'll zoom in here in just a minute. So that someone was nice and outlined the play area, the red lines here and down. And like I said, I'll zoom in and then down to here. So this is Petersburg, is south, Front Royal, and then over here on the right is Paris. So we're doing World War I or II. No, Snickers Graveyard, which will mean nothing to anybody. Winchester, is that Winchester, Virginia?
That is the one just down the street here.
All right. And then there's Charlestown out of our play area.
And I did some checking on that. I was complaining about the way that was spelled, and our media guy at work, he did some research, and it was originally spelled like that.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, they're pretty good with their maps and stuff. So I got to think they look at period area maps, right?
Yeah. Eric, how you doing? John Halley, Richard Kerr, how you doing, guys?
Hey, man, thanks a lot, all, for hopping on here. Oh, hey, Eric.
Yeah,
nice to have you come on and watch. That's cool.
Yep. Hope to see you here shortly up in Gettysburg.
Since I enjoy coming and popping on your videos. Anyway, so that's kind of where we are. So Jeff, if you want to kind of talk about what we were trying to achieve here, I can broad and then I'll zoom in. So here's
Patterson was still in charge of the Union forces, but he would get yanked for his epic failure because from what I gather here, Johnston is attempting to disengage and rail his troops to join Beauregard over to the southeast in Manassas for the first Battle of Bull Run, which is up and coming. And Patterson needed to stop that. So in this scenario here, they laid this out nice because you would have thought, hey, let's just get the Confederate troops down to a depot, get them on trains, get them out of here. But it wasn't that simple because victory condition wise, they were going to need to fight a little bit to create some havoc and maybe some casualty points for against the Union, and then get everybody they can, except for the 2 static units up in Winchester, defending Winchester. They needed to get everybody they can, plus Johnston, off the map in one of 2 exit points, and at the same time, not allow the Union to exit off one of their particular exit points, which is the lower green one. So if the Union soldiers were to exit off that lower green one, then the Southerners could not use that they could not use their southern one as an exit point. So they would have had to exit off at the same place in that upper green one, or the middle green one. I'm sorry.
So
go
ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, well, I think, wasn't it that you said or maybe it says it in the root game, that if they got off here, they were basically going to be able to kind of block this railroad here.
Yeah, if the Union got off there, they would cut the rail line going towards Manassas.
Which is kind of cool. Again, so if you start thinking about it, because you're like, well, why there? And it's like, okay, because they exited here and intersected the train, or could, and this was a train. Now, there are no train rules in this. So basically, I think was the rule, Jeff, that they just kind of got to here and they
were off and gone. So
yeah. And then this up here, Snickers Graveyard, that I'm kind of blinking red, was the other Confederate point they could go off of. I guess just because it's another.
No, that was for the Union only up there.
Oh, that was Union.
Yeah, the one down by where it says Blue Ridge is where the Confederates or the Union.
Yeah. Sorry. So other way around, everybody. So the Union could get off here and come somehow intercept the train.
And the Union kind of needed to take, as we played through, we figured to get some victory points, they needed to take Front Royal. But we'll talk about here where we think we made the boo-boo with the Union, mistakes with the Union. So, Micah, how you doing, buddy? Walt, how you doing? Good to see you. So, okay, so we took the approach of we decided to use Stewart and Jackson to move forward. Well, initially we moved everybody forward for the Confederates to try to get a first turn swat at the Yanks to really slow them down. And we kicked Stewart out to the east, just over what would have been the Opequon, and to slow anything coming down the right side there away from the valley. The Valley Turnpike is the black line you see running straight from Winchester back up to Bunker Hill there. So that's the Valley Turnpike right there. And we knew as the Union, we were going to try to run down the right side, but at the same time, we need to have enough force move down to take Winchester. And that was our plan. And of course, the first thing we did was we got Jackson up there, and he got his ass handed to him, just like we did in the first scenario we played. And he ended up not really serving a purpose after he retreated. We ended up just moving him off the map as fast as we could.
So yeah, I'm going to go to the end game map.
All right. Hexes and soldiers. Trying to catch up with that last video you just shot.
So this is the end game here. It's a pretty big map area considering what you end up really doing. But
yeah.
At least the way we play it. So let's look at what Jackson looked like, or Jackson actually got off the board. So, oh yeah, he looks okay.
We got them all off.
Yeah. So you had to get all these guys off. You did not have to get Stewart off, but if you did, you got a lot of extra points.
Yeah, Stewart was another 2. Johnston was the big one.
Yeah, he was 16.
Yeah.
So basically, you got a few points for you. Well, you actually got 8 points for each of these counters that got off, and then 16 for Johnston, and then Stewart got an extra something. I think the Union would get a few, just like 2 points each. They got like 8 points to take Winchester.
6,
and then and this was the first one that we had a morale thing that we had to keep track of. So for every step lost in combat and etc. for each side, that was some points to each side, as well as moving a morale marker up, which the Confederates took a 10-point, and what was it at 20? It's a pretty low number.
Yeah, they both started with a level of 20, and Jackson's beat down, I think, was it 10? I think 8 or 10.
It cost 10 because he lost steps. He had to route.
That's right. He had to route. Yeah.
And so that was like immediately, and we're like, holy mackerel.
Right. And it's weird because the rule said, okay, so first off, the 2 rules that we had to keep our eye on. One was the Confederates could not just exit the map without any engagement because they would lose. So you had to fight and create some damage, which they did. They ended up creating a little damage. But we were eventually able to get them all off the map, even though a couple of them were tore up pretty good. But at the same token is if you took losses and routed, or I'm sorry, if you lost a battle and routed or retreated, if you routed, you took their current strength before any losses, and it was 2 points, 2 morale points per manpower.
Yeah. That's
for the losses. And if it was a retreat, it was 1 strength point or 1 morale. So Jackson, he was a 5, I think.
Yep,
so,
I think so.
He routed.
Yeah.
So yeah, we ended up with 10. Fortunately for the Confederates, that was the only morale hits they took. And then the Union, I think we returned the favor. Johnson's a very, very powerful leader in this game with a command value of 2 or tactical value of 2. And the Yankees just don't have anybody. They had artillery this time.
Yeah. And so look at Negley up here. What happened with him is he got kind of similar things that happened to Jackson and just knocked him out, and he had a rout, and that's why they took a hit on their morale. And it's called a panic rule. And if you got one of the sides to panic, it was worth 33 points, which
yeah.
So that's interesting that we were pretty much just kind of running and gunning on both sides, really, except for that first couple little battles we had.
Yeah, and we could never really oh, you know what? I'll tell you what, though. Did the unit that we chased out of Winchester, who was it, Mean? Did they take step losses?
Man, I don't remember.
They just disorganized. Okay.
I think there was no step loss when they got that battle. They just had to retreat.
Yeah, because that could have been a breaking point right there. So it was 33 points either way if one side morale, but one side panic, but we only got halfway to those panic levels. We tried to fight, but I don't know, the Union just, while they had the manpower, we were not the best success at getting assaults and grand assaults going because Patterson's a very weak commander.
Yeah, we rolled some pretty poor on that. So I'm gonna just bring up this, or do I want to do like this? I'll do it like this. So I took notes on my little whiteboard here. I don't know if we need to my clear plexi that I use, a little piece of plexi I'm using as a whiteboard with my notes on it, and that's how I do my calculations because battle calculations are interesting in this. Do we have any questions or anything going on here?
Nope, just acknowledging what we're doing.
Yeah, we got an inch or two of snow today in St. Louis area, so that's pretty cool. All right, well, you guys are talking amongst yourself. Cool. Okay. So I don't know. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about now. So now let's talk a little bit about now kind of what we might do differently. I mean, yeah, what we might do differently, and then kind of what some things about this scenario that I'm going to probably say about every scenario in this game, but it doesn't hurt to be a repeating all the time. So what do you think you would want to do differently for either side?
Well, I mean, I think we both realized that priority goal for the Union is to keep Confederate forces on the map.
Yeah, because that's 8 points each. Oh, by the way, it was a 58-point Confederate decisive victory. I mean, that is a blowout. So the Union, we obviously did not do some things right for the Union. Because what we did, so you could see basically Caldwell's side. So what Jeff was saying, Caldwell's was pretty much the only one kind of coming down this right-hand side, if just looking at the map. And everyone else was kind of going after Winchester. Winchester's worth 8 points. That's worth 1 unit. Right. So I'm kind of like, I almost wonder if Winchester's not even worth going after.
I know. And we kind of got lucky with that last attack and took it.
Yeah, that was the very last. I mean, the Confederates were pretty much done, and we pretty much did it to practice doing assaults and stuff.
And we attempted to use Thomas, the Union cavalry, to delay, and I mean he did, but he's only going to really be able once one unit chases him off. He's way down south, remember?
Yeah, he's down. Oh yeah, he's down here.
And once you chase him off, he's not going to affect anybody else along that main road. And I think we made one smart move, and we moved LZ and Smith. I think after the first turn, we immediately started moving them to the southeast to get them out of here. And they got down there to the crossing before, right there to the left of the Blue Ridge. They got to that crossing before Thomas's cavalry could have any effect. And then we just chased his cavalry off in this game. And we actually got lucky, too, with Johnston in the last unit he was with, just barely having enough movement points to cross that ferry or that ford or whatever and get over there and get off the map. Because it costs an extra movement point to leave the map from the exit hex. So, I mean, so that would have been 5. That would have been a unit plus Johnston would have ended up staying on the map. That would have been 16 less 24 less points.
Yeah.
And we said what was the
is a 58 points Confederate decisive victory. I don't remember the breakdown.
Yeah, that would have that might have changed. Yeah, so minus 24. Well, 30. It still would have been a Confederate victory, but
yeah, it would have been, but it would have been a marginal.
Yeah. So I mean, so I think if we play this again, we've got to go down the east side between Winchester and the Shenandoah River with the Yanks to try to cut those Confederate troops, not give them that, because Patterson's got quite a bit of force. He's got 3 divisions.
Right. What's the situation? So, but that may not be as easy as we think too, because the Confederates are going to go here, but then they can also get off down here. So that's why if you get just one Union guy off the Snickers graveyard, would that prevent that exit?
No, they got to get one off that lower one. The lower green one.
I keep forgetting that. Wait a minute. So
what was the upper one?
What's the point of the upper one?
That's just where the Union exits.
Oh.
Yeah, but if they get one off down there, then that lower place the red exit point for the
Oh yeah,
Confederates.
so they need to hustle down that direction, get one guy off, a weak one, and then interesting.
And plus, we're only getting a 1d6 roll with them. You would have to, and of course, let's talk about where we failed. What rule we failed to apply?
Force march.
Yeah, remember we caught that after 2 turns in.
It's only a 3-turn game, so
yeah.
Yeah, so we needed to do force march. We just forget. So one thing I changed a little bit about my play from the first scenario, because I watched Patrick's thing. I figure he knows a little bit better than I do about how to play this game. Is I didn't take everyone to red all the time. 4th level fatigue. I tried to keep them at 3 so they could at least recover some. Whether or not that's the right thing. Now, we did push people to red 4th level fatigue at some points, but I tried to do it a little less early on, because getting that exhaustion off and all that, I don't know if that was right. Maybe that was hurt the Union, but that was one thing I changed by base. I haven't watched his video on this play of this game.
Yeah, push them to the limit to get down there.
Yeah. Initiative felt fairly equal. We didn't keep track of it, but I guess a little bit more aggressive. Well, yeah, aggressive getting down there, maybe a little bit more aggressive attacking, but it's tough to get step losses, honestly.
Oh yeah. We never really got. Well, see, we did get one flanking attack for each side.
Yeah.
No, actually, no. Yeah, he did, but it wasn't a big one.
Yeah, it was small.
But we never really got. We didn't have much of a fight. I mean, we had two majors, and then we had the one at Winchester.
Yep.
So, and I mean, even if we exited more Union instead of going to Winchester, if they'd have just exited, it still wouldn't have been enough. I agree. We have to stop the Confederates from getting off that map. I think needs to be the first priority.
Yep. Agreed.
Oh yeah, for sure, Eric. Johnston's tactical value is a 2, and in AGA, your district commanders for the Union can only command 2 units within 2 hex, and the leaders have to be within 2 hexes. Where Johnston can control 3, and anybody within 3, the Confederate leaders can do anybody within 3 hexes. So, I mean, you can look at those ratings there: 2 and 4 for Johnston, and a 0 and 5 for Patterson. It doesn't seem like much, but that's drastic. And all of the Union commanders were 0 tactical values. And the artillery, with having 1 artillery, never really caused any change in the odds in this. So,
yeah, it's very interesting watching some of the people playing the later scenarios, and the numbers are like 17, and you got 3 and 4.
Right.
Very different calculations.
We played turn 1 the first night, and then we played the next 2 turns the very next sitting.
Yeah,
we're starting to pick up a little pace.
Yeah, the first turn's slow just because you're trying to get used to it. I would argue that this scenario, just like the first one, and I said I'm probably going to say this about every scenario always, is replayability is good just because of the initiative rolling for the first thing.
Right.
Depending how hard you push your troops, what you roll for extended march can really make a difference. Those movement rolls make a huge difference. So it's just, and I don't know if there's a best way to play this scenario. I never, it takes me a long time. I never play anything enough to figure that out, but these scenarios would easily play. I would feel very comfortable going and replaying these by myself and just like, okay, and I could, try different things. But I think it'd be Jeff and I'd be excited to get through the first 5 scenarios, which are all the basic games.
Yep. This is a good place to start, Ray, with the On to Richmond 2, because the early scenarios for all green alike are in that box, and then you'll have all the big massive ones for later. I mean, yeah, you're going to drop some serious coin on it, but
This comes out of this game.
Oh, I'm sorry. Stonewall Jackson's Way 2. My bad. My apologies. Yeah. Yep. Stonewall Jackson's Way 2. So
I don't know if that's available.
Probably secondhand. You have to find a secondhand. These are. I mean, I've got all the old ones. They're really not going to serve any purpose for me now with having all the new ones. So,
right.
But yeah, this is. So I mean, all right. So the deal was, the end result is Johnston got his boys to a depot, and they are on the trains headed to Manassas to assist Beauregard with the impending force coming out of D.C., trying to win the war in 30 days.
And I would argue Patterson will get fired after this movement.
Yeah. We tried to get him killed to save him the pain, but yeah, no luck.
Yeah. Anyway, so replayability is good. It's been a fun exercise so far. Just playing this, so it introduced morale and panicking, which is an advanced thing. Jeff noticed that we are going to be doing railroad, which is another advanced thing. So it's pretty cool how they're inserting little things here and there. I will say the complexity of this game comes from the victory conditions,
and
there's just the special little exceptions. That's what makes any game complicated. With like the Union having slightly different rolling for movements, command, so it's not everyone's the same, and there's not necessarily easy indicators to show you that sort of information. You kind of have to remember it. So not the movement thing. The movement thing's on a chart, but even then you have to look at all the notes because it'll say AGA. So like the Union on extended march, I think it is the hey, what's up, Tody? Nordic's on here, cool.
It is that of all the games we've gotten played, the special rules, and somebody just didn't scribble down, oh yeah, we're going to make this happen for this game. And somebody really thought these things out, because so we've played 2 scenarios, and while we're still novice at it, we've in 2 scenarios, we've already gotten a lot more efficient with most of the core rules. Like we were much better. We caught ourselves, but we were much better with extended march. And we realized now after 2 scenarios that there were multiple different ways we could approach each one of these. So, if you rate replayability just off the 2 scenarios that we played on a scale of 1 to 10, I think these are 10.5s for replayability. So, and then of course, you're just like any other game, your dice roll.
Yeah.
All green alike is part of, for Stonewall Jackson's Way too. Because it's early war. Troops aren't necessarily seasoned, which you got to wonder, a lot of these guys probably fought in the Mexican War, so you would think some of them would be seasoned, but they're not as seasoned, I guess, as they would be later on during the war years. So, but yeah, 2 good scenarios so far, and Todd and I are going to start number 3 tonight. Not going to do it live yet. Hopefully soon we'll be doing them live, and we'll try to get advanced notice on the channel so that when we're going to play. If you want to watch somebody doing it live right now, go and check out Half-Assed. He's on here. He keeps popping up live and playing some stuff. See what he's doing. He's pretty fluid with the system. So, Perry, how you doing, buddy? Evening.
So, I thought I would want to avoid the advanced games. I mean, I probably will I don't know. We'll see how I feel after scenario 5. But man, when you see what you can do with advanced, you can say, like, okay, supply, burning railroad, panicking, morale. I just don't want to. I don't want that stuff to kind of overwhelm my thoughts of how to play it and stuff. So I don't know. We'll see. We got a ways to go before we get through 5.
And for those of you that haven't tried the system yet, that's the other good thing. You do not have to play the advanced rules to get some great play out of this system. That's for sure.
Yep. How many turns is scenario 3?
3 turns. Yay.
3 turns. A few more troops, I think, right?
Yeah. Plus, we got railroad movement. Beauregard's in this one. We've got advanced. See, we've got reinforcement phase and the attachment phase are added to this.
Oh.
And a leader replacement. Oh yeah, I know what this is. So
And there's a what if variant. That's cool.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, so the victory conditions, there are listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 different victory conditions. 13, 14, 15, actually.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't see that what if variant. Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, like Jeff said, they have put some thought into. I proofed the onto Richmond stuff, the basic scenarios, and basic, not because I knew the rules. I was proofing consistency, map references, that kind of stuff. And man, just reading those, I was like, holy cow, there's some. I mean, just the fact that there's so many variability in the VP shows replayability.
Oh yeah, yeah, easily, yeah. Yeah,
So,
and tracking this stuff, you really got to check those victory conditions and make sure that if there's any you need to track on the fly, which thank God you were keeping up with the morale thing on this when we played the second and third turns, because I'd spaced it up before we even started.
Yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, so this next one here, this involves the Stone Bridge, Gainesville. This is all Bull Run and Bristow Station. Oh, we're going to be destroying stations.
Oh yeah, good.
So, all right. Well, there you have it. That's it. Confederate victory on that one. I think the Confederates are 2-0. Let's see if the tide can start to change now. Of course, it is still early war.
Right. Cool. Well, hey, thanks everybody for popping on here. Let's see, do we have anything else? Any more? I demand to see the scale.
Nordic is not allowed to. He is not allowed to appoint commanders to any battlefield environment.
Why is that?
Because they create catastrophes in the center of the line.
He
will no longer be allowed to assign commanders. We're putting him in supply.
Sounds good. Well, that comes in later in the advanced rules.
Yeah. All right, gang. Hey, everybody, thanks for checking it out. Todd and I are going to get after our next scenario, and hopefully you'll see another review on that down the road.
All right. See y'all.
See ya.
Bye.